bartender at a club in East Village. We lived in the same apartment and we were just inseparable. When I started to make records and stuff, he was my art director. He helped me design my album covers and he'd go on tour with me and help me with my shows and things like that. He was really my best friend.
When Martin started to get sick, we didn't know what it was. He was just really sick. He retreated to his apartment, and so we would try and drop off food and he wouldn't open the door. You know, by the end of 2 weeks, we had to get him to open the door. Martin did not want to die. He was angry and broken by it. If we sat him up, he could stay awake long enough for her to get here. He made it really clear that we had to do that. She came with Sean and all of us just gave her space, and she sat and talked with him and told him how much she loved him. I think for him she was a soulmate.
People could say, Madonna, you really shouldn't be concerning yourself so closely with someone like this. It could be harmful.
Yeah, but he was my best friend. What could I do? I loved him, and people treat, people with AIDS like they're lepers or something. If they contract AIDS, all their friends kind of disappear. Well, then that's not a friend. How could I desert him?
Madonna didn't know Martin was sick. He told everyone he had the measles.
I told Martin, I'll take care of the medicine, no problem. Then I found out it was like $1,800 a month. I was paying for a few months, then Madonna found out, rented an apartment in the village, and paid for everything. Her husband at the time, Sean Penn, she convinced him to fly to Mexico to get a drug that would possibly cure AIDS.
Now, I am not HIV positive, but what if I were? I would be more afraid of how society would treat me for having the disease than the actual disease itself. It occurred to me rather recently that what's even bigger than the AIDS epidemic, what's even more frightening, is the fear that this plague has given birth to. What they're facing is real. And if we can learn to deal with real, and we can learn to deal with our fears, then I'm hopeful that we can conquer this disease. Thank you.
It takes a lot of courage these days to come out and say, I'm gay. But it takes a fucking warrior to come out and say, I have AIDS.
It's kind of astonishing that we're still here talking about raising money and awareness for a disease that should have been obliterated decades ago.
AIDS is not a gay disease. It's a human disease.
There is no cure for AIDS.
If you're asking me what I think of AIDS, I hope and pray that we find a cure for it, because it's killing all of my friends.
People with AIDS are often victims of discrimination, even violence.
And the rate of AIDS is raising in the heterosexual community at a really frightening rate, okay?
AIDS is a powerful and mysterious disease that continues to elude us.
I'm really here for two reasons. Number one is because I really believe in AIDS Project LA.
AIDS remains a deadly disease that kills people. The crisis continues and it demands everyone's sustained and active support.
This next song I wrote about two very dear friends of mine who died of AIDS.
I decided to use my fame to make even more noise, to fight for more research and more money and more awareness and more compassion and provoke and make trouble, because that's what I do best.
The entire family of my adopted son died of AIDS. It's just recently. It's not a disease that has gone away, and we need to remember that.
It's really pathetic
because it's not headline news anymore, and I think a lot of people think it's just gone away, but it hasn't.
I would be more afraid of how society would treat me for having the disease than the actual disease itself.
Putting that kind of stigma on people is wrong.
The handful of people that I have known and loved dearly that have died of AIDS, to the thousands I have heard about, and to the millions I will never know, I share this award with you. You are my heroes. Thank you.
The sold-out audience, which included Madonna's husband, actor Sean Penn, opened up their pocketbooks as well as their hearts, shelling out as much as $100 a ticket to benefit AMFAR, the American Foundation for AIDS Research.
Hopefully, with your presence tonight, the money that we've raised for research grants will help us to find a cure, and I hope to God it does.
Madonna received a lot of support from AMFAR when her former roommate, a New York artist, became sick last year with AIDS. He died in November.
So if you should ever die, wonder what love is all about.
Most of the fans I talked to tonight were primarily here to see Madonna, but they were also aware this was a benefit and glad that their money was going to support a good cause.
I paid $100 for both tickets, and I feel the money is really going to go for a good cause, you know. Something really has to be done about this, you know.
Madonna also wanted this to be an educational event for her fans, so each one received a comic book describing how the disease can and cannot be transmitted.
A lot of these people wouldn't even bother to read it if it wasn't for Madonna. You know, they wouldn't bother to read it, but if it's given at a Madonna concert, then they might think, you know, this is something important.
Tonight's benefit is expected to raise more than $350,000 for AIDS research. From Madison Square Garden, Sarah Wallace, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Well, Madonna returns to our area for another concert in August. That will be at Giant Stadium, and sorry, Madonna fans, it's been sold out for a very...
AIDS research. And News 4's Ben Farnsworth was there.
They lined up at the Garden. Nobody had to ask who's that girl. It was Madonna they had come to see. Special contributors had paid $50 to $100 for the best seats, but Madonna wanted to make sure that her fans could afford to be there too. So half of the 13,000 tickets went for $25. There were plenty of people who looked like Madonna, but it was the genuine article who took over the stage. Last winter, the American Foundation for AIDS Research asked Madonna if she would do something for the battle against the disease. She promised they would hear from her the next time she went on the road. Sure enough, the foundation got a call 3 weeks ago that this extra concert would be added to her Who's That Girl tour. Tonight's performance will raise about $250,000.
Hopefully, with your presence tonight, the money that we've raised for research grants will help us to find a cure, and I hope to God it does.
Only a few hours before the concert began, the American Foundation for AIDS Research met to decide which researchers will get the money raised here tonight. The foundation vowed that the funds collected from Madonna fans would be at work in laboratories by the end of the month. Ben Farnsworth, News 4 New York.
Tomorrow night at 7, Jodie Foster and Sally Kellerman star in Foxes. Now Suzanne Summers guest hosts The Late Show, next on Fox 32.
Madonna was inspired to do the fundraiser when a close friend died of AIDS last year. It was her way of fighting back the disease with money and information.
You know, AIDS is a powerful and mysterious disease that continues to elude us, but we are more powerful because we can stop it from spreading any further by educating ourselves and finding out the facts.
The facts, in the form of a comic book, were handed out free to all concert goers.
You must be my lucky star, 'cause you shine on me wherever you are.
Proceeds proceeds from ticket sales and merchandising will go to the American Foundation for AIDS Research. The money will be put to work in the laboratory by the end of the month. Ticket sales of up to 100...
Wednesday night at 7 on Movie 32, it's a story of survival under the Nazi occupation of Holland in Soldier of Orange. Alfred Hitchcock presents his next on Fox 32.
Many people think you can tell if someone has AIDS just by looking at them, but they're wrong. A person can have AIDS for a long time without showing any symptoms. So protect yourself. Not having sex is one way to avoid AIDS. Staying away from people who shoot drugs is another. If you do have sex, use a condom. It may be the most important thing you ever do. Because what you see...
The truth is, AIDS is our enemy.
Die Wahrheit ist, AIDS ist unser Feind.
Prejudice is our enemy.
Vorurteile sind unsere Feinde.
Yes. And AIDS does not know if we are gay or we are straight.
Und AIDS weiß nicht, ob wir schwul oder normal sind. AIDS trifft kein Urteil über unsere sexuelle Einstellung. Und deswegen darf auch niemand für seine Einstellung verurteilt werden.
For two reasons. Number one is because I really believe in AIDS Project LA and the services that they have provided for people with AIDS and in the Los Angeles community, and for the prevention education that they support, and the second reason I'm here is because I love to dance.
And dance she did. In fact, Madonna danced and danced and danced for nearly an hour straight, along with her pal Sandra Bernhard, her Who's That Girl co-star Cody Mundi, and backup singer Nikki Harris.
They're here to make sure that I don't perform too many nasty dance moves. That Christopher Flynn is responsible for teaching me.
Chris Flynn, who introduced Madonna at this fundraising dance-a-thon for the AIDS Project of LA, is an AIDS victim himself. He's also the first dance teacher Madonna ever had, and still a very close friend.
You will understand the depth of my faith in her when I tell you that she was among the first persons I turned to when I was diagnosed. She understands, she cares, and like you, she knows that being here makes all the difference.
You know, he's thanking me for being here, but I have to say thank you to him because he's the man responsible for encouraging me to go after my dreams, to go to New York, to, I don't know. He taught me, I went to my first dance class with him. He's a great guy.
As your oldest living disco partner, I claim the first dance.
Hello, good morning. 10 years ago, I attended the first Los Angeles AIDS Dance-a-thon, and I'm here this morning for the same reason I was then. AIDS remains a deadly disease that kills people. The crisis continues and it demands everyone's sustained and active support. And since Washington, D.C. has focused their attention elsewhere lately, bills sit in Congress that should be passed that could fund the necessary education to kids who still don't know about AIDS prevention. And can someone please tell me why Kenneth Starr gets $45 million for a ludicrous investigation and they cannot fund one needle exchange program? There's something wrong with this picture. If only we could get Congress to pay attention to more important things. Anyway, thank you very much for coming. Have a great walk.
positive. Here's how it went.
When Madonna calls, what's a 5-block run in the rain, right?
Luke Perry, Katie Lang. Luke Perry, Katie Lang.
When I'm close to you, dear.
All sorts of celebs were on hand, not just to raise money to fight AIDS, but to honor Madonna for her ceaseless AIDS activism. In the mid-'80s, she was a model at an early AIDS benefit fashion show. In 1987, she held pop music's first big AIDS benefit show at New York's Madison Square Garden. She's shaken her booty at AIDS dance-a-thons, and on her last tour, she held another benefit after her friend, artist Keith Haring, died of AIDS.
I think that she was one of the first people to really come out and raise money, donate, publicly fight for it when it was not as fashionable. I think that she's a real heroine in that respect.
Madonna not only got the AMFAR Award of Courage, she was also roasted to a degree by her League of Their Own co-star, Rosie O'Donnell.
Yeah, oh! Watch me do the wiggle to the music, wiggle to the music.
Like every AIDS-related event these days, this one also saw discussion of Magic Johnson's announcement that he's HIV positive and the AIDS-related death of Queen frontman Freddie Mercury.
I hope that we're able to find a miracle through his sacrifice.
AMFAR co-founder and chairwoman Elizabeth Taylor was absent with the flu, but her disembodied voice did address the crowd on an audio tape she recorded in her sickbed.
Tonight, we pay tribute to the heroine of our movement and a symbol of our times. Madonna, it is with love I salute you. God bless you always.
I don't even know all the stuff that she does. I know she gives a lot of money, and I know that she's vocal about, you know, safe sex, and I just think that she's, you know, politically correct about it.
It's called the Award of Courage, which makes sense because Madonna's about the bravest person I know.
Finally, Madonna took a few moments to address those rumors.
Now, I am not HIV positive, but what if I were? I would be more afraid of how society would treat me for having the disease than the actual disease itself. It occurred to me rather recently that what's even bigger than the AIDS epidemic, what's even more frightening, is the fear that this plague has given birth to. What they're facing is real. And if we can learn to deal with real, and we can learn to deal with our fears, then I'm hopeful that we can conquer this disease. Thank you.
Supporting the hard-fought effort that is going on every day in the trenches by your support of AMFAR.
The hard work in the trenches is led by an energetic and driven woman.
Now I would like to introduce the amazing, incredible Matilda Prim.
The American Foundation for AIDS Research, created in 1985 out of the fusion of two local organizations that preceded it, to become a truly national organization.
In the past 14 years, AMFAR has raised and donated $150 million in grants to more than 1,700 research teams.
Is in our world. Number one, they offer leadership. Number two, they help raise money. Because when you have a celebrity at an event, the press comes. And it doesn't if you don't.
Just sometimes. And the side effects are often painful. And most important of all,
there is no cure for AIDS. There is no cure for AIDS. There is no cure for AIDS.
Well, it's time to go to the auction, but we wouldn't dream of sending you to such a... By longtime AMFAR supporter Madonna. She took a chance in 1998 by going with an unknown designer.
Only Madonna would pick a 21-year-old unknown Belgian designer and wear his top, you know, because she can do it, because she can get away with it.
But the...
We paid $70,000 for it. Best news of all is that all that goes towards the contribution for AMFAR.
The top buyer of the night was Mattel Incorporated. Looks like Oscar Barbie's got a new outfit.
Coming up,
why have we become so passive?
Madonna and the four-letter word she says we all forgot about.
In New York, the always fashionable Madonna went public on Wednesday to remind everyone of what's now being called the four-letter word we all forgot about, AIDS. It was Material Girl as Magazine Girl, introducing Esquire's March issue, which features a cover story on the war against AIDS. And she was most emphatic when cautioning everyone not to forget about the worldwide AIDS crisis.
I'm here to say that anyone with a conscience has a responsibility to themselves and to the rest of humanity to not be lulled into this sort of complacency. There is no cure for AIDS. There is no cure for AIDS. There is no cure for AIDS.
The American Foundation for AIDS Research, or AMFAR, used the occasion to unveil its new AIDS awareness campaign. The March issue of Esquire hits newsstands nationwide next week. In an
Today, too many people shun those with AIDS. People with AIDS are often victims of discrimination and even violence. Putting that kind of stigma on people is wrong. This is the 21st century. There's no excuse for failing to treat those who are sick. And there's no excuse for treating people badly who have AIDS. The choice is ours to make. Let's be smart and let's be compassionate. And remember, it's never too late to do the right thing.
Now, Sharon told us that she's got some things planned with you. Can you give us a preview?
I don't know. I think it's all a surprise. I don't know.
Is it all about woman power tonight? It's you, Sharon Stone, Mary J. Blige, a lot of really strong women in there.
Yep. Well, we rule the world. What can I say?
And finally, is this a relief for you? I mean, you've had the film, big promotions. Can you kind of let your hair down and have fun tonight?
Probably after the bidding is done, yes. Since I don't know what Sharon has in store for me. I would like to start off by saying happy birthday to Sharon. I think this is an amazing way to share your birthday. I would also like to thank AMFAR for all the amazing work that they've done over the last few decades. It's true what Sharon says. If it weren't for all the research that they've done, we wouldn't have the life-saving drugs, many and most of the life-saving drugs that we have that keep people alive who are HIV positive. So thank you, AMFAR.
We've got 300 for her to perform backstage before her concert. Looking for €100,000 bid for a diamond and crocodile bag.
It's not the bag, baby. It's the thought behind it.
Owned by Madonna.
Okay.
I got a €100,000 bid back there. I'm looking for 120. I got 100, looking for 120. 120 over here, looking for 140. I got 120, looking for 140. 120, looking for 140. I got 120, looking for 140. I got 120.
I'm wearing it.
For Madonna's bag. I got 140 back there. 140, looking for 160. 140, looking for 160 for Madonna's bag and content. Do a 220. Would you like 220?
This girl right here, she's a great beauty. She deserves this bag.
220 there. I got 220 there. Thank you. 220.
I also want to point out that today is World AIDS Day. Yes. And it's important to remember that we still haven't found a cure for AIDS, but we have found a way to keep people alive and healthy. And that is because so many amazing people for more than 3 decades have been doing amazing work to make that magic happen. Yes. And I want to, please bear with me because I feel like I should acknowledge not only the dearest, greatest, most amazing and lovely friends of mine who died of AIDS so many years ago, who still do. The entire family of my adopted son died of AIDS. It's just recently, it's not a disease that has gone away, and we need to remember that. So let's give a big thanks to people who continue to fight to find a cure for this disease. And let's acknowledge all the people who have passed, who have fought to raise awareness. We shall overcome one day. Thank you.